Okay, welcome to a research video. I want to show you a few tips and tricks just really quickly. Now, if you have access to a student database at a school like a college, you're going to want to use that too, and probably first because it's easier. But when all is lost and you're really frustrated and you're not sure what's going on, I want to tell you, first of all, to keep it simple. So, really, what I put in here is just an illustration of an overcomplicated thing. I could also put in a question that would overcomplicate things, and really, you need to focus on words. So, what's your central topic? If we were going to do uh, car or pollution, we could do pollution and cars or vehicles, right? So, and you can try them both ways. Now, and is called a Boolean phrase. It connects these two words. It tells the search engine, hey, I'd like to have these close together. Now, another thing that you can do is you see how the pop-ups are here. These aren't things that I've searched. These are things that Google says, hey, these are the most likely candidates for finding information. So I could do air pollution and Carfax, pollution control in cars, cars versus planes. So it gets really, and there's more once you start clicking on things. But right now, I just want to focus on the main topic. So we're going to click this one and see what happens. Now, a lot of times instructors will want you to have peer-reviewed journal articles. Those are those documents with an abstract. They have credible authors. They're usually from colleges doing research, usually have doctoral degrees and things like that. There's usually a method section and a conclusion. It usually talks about weaknesses and, in the research, it's a first-hand account of the research. So keep that in mind and I'm going to show you a trick to find them this way as well. And you can also use Google Scholar, which we'll look at really quickly too. Now, the how stuff works is not that credible. I probably wouldn't go there. Now, here you've got a government agency that looks pretty promising. It's from 2020. So you could look at this and see, hey, and of course your author here would be the EPA. And also it references some historical stuff. So if you're writing a paper arguing about um, implementing some sort of steps to reduce pollution from cars, then you probably use this one because of the date on it, and you can tell that it's telling historical information here. Now, National Geographic, I would offer that even though it's typically an online magazine type publication, it's also reviewed for accuracy. So that really tops up there with some of the more credible sources. Now, here's uh, a state report is what it looks like. Um, I'm not sure what this is. This is probably a personal blog type thing. So you can kind of eyeball these and see what they are. Um, I want to show you how to find the PDFs. So the importance of a PDF. Now the reason I'm doing this is when you're trying to find a peer-reviewed journal article and maybe your school database is not helping very much with that, and you go over to Google Scholar, which is another tool you can use, and you find that you have to pay for things on there, and you don't want to pay for anything, you want it free, you put in .pdf. Most of the peer-reviewed journal articles that are going to be free, okay, out here online are going to show up this way. And you can even see that there's a whole bunch of results. And we're going to come on down here and see if we can find. Now, ResearchGate is a great one. That is a online database sort of membership type thing where you can join, you or I or anybody could join, and you can sign up and you can look through the topics and you can find some PDF documents. So some peer-reviewed journal articles too that are on there, and sometimes it'll say request it from the author, and you can, or from the researcher, and usually they'll send it to you. So it's pretty cool. That is a free source for that. And then let me see if it'll let me open this up to show you real quick. It may make me sign in, so if it does, we'll just come back to where we were. it's not wanting to click with me while I'm recording this. Let me try that one more time. Here it goes. So it looks like this. In this case, it says download the full PDF. Now, I think it might make you sign up for this, but it looks like this one's actually available for download. And these are peer-reviewed journal articles usually. Now, sometimes there'll be a summary of research, and in some cases that's okay too. Now, you can tell this is somebody from university. They've done this research. So that's an easy way to find it. Yeah, I guess you do. I just clicked the button. But I'm going to go back because I'm not going to use that one. So I'm going to do something that one of my students did in a different class so that I can show you. I need something that's less common. So if we're doing, and we're going to do and, that tells it, hey, I want this term close to this term so that you can get a document that has it all in there. Um, So we're going to look up car emissions in cities and see what we can find. Okay, so CO2 emissions from cars. This is transportenvironment.org. You have to be careful with some of these because some of these publications can be published with, you know, something in mind, like selling a product or, you know, buying a service. So let's look at this one, cities and greenhouse emissions. So I've already found a peer-reviewed journal article. Now this one's from 2011, so it's a little older. It would probably be limited to using in like showing a trend, historical information, but you can see what I'm talking about. They have the abstracts. You can't really tell where the authors are, but if you're looking up the authors, you can usually tell they've written something else. Actually, World Bank, Civil Engineering, University of Toronto. So I'm not sure about this one because it's World Bank Group. I'm not sure that would be a good choice in terms of being credible information, but you could look through it and tell. It looks like, okay, so let's scroll down. Yeah, there's some statistics. There's what you like to see right there in these peer-reviewed journal articles. So you want to see all of the information and data. Now, data can be biased. You can have someone create a survey and things like that to create sort of a slant. So you have to be careful about what you're choosing. But this one looks pretty good. There's some report information. Let's get on down here and see if they've used sources, and they have. So you really want to make sure that they've used plenty of sources. I would offer to you, though, if you're seeing mistakes like this, like the HTTP Data World Bank, doesn't look like it's part of this. So that is actually a huge mistake in formatting, and I'm not sure I would even use this because it speaks to the credibility of whoever compiled this. There's a lot of World Bank sources, so I'm not entirely sure this is usable. But again, this is just one way to find information. Now, I could change this to anything. If we were going to do, let's think about women's rights. And here's some interesting stuff that popped up. So if you were going to do something on women's rights around the world and you wanted to do under the Indian Constitution, now that's interesting, or Hindi, um, women's rights or human rights, full speech. So there's an actual speech. So let's do just Indian Constitution. So this one has PDFs all over the place. So this is 2016. This looks like it has social statistics in it. So I love the way that they do this because it shows all. See, here's ResearchGate again. So you really ResearchGate, Google Scholar, and your database at school is going to be the best. So let's do a little Google Scholar work. And you can also use the word or when you're looking for things. We'll try that on Google Scholar for you guys so that you have that too. Okay, so on this one of the things that bothers me about Google Scholar is it's not free. So some of the things are going to charge you money, and I don't want to, give you information that's going to charge you money. So just really quickly, and then I'm going to cut the video short because you've already looked at databases in another one and Google terms and adding the PDF is how you do that to produce better results because otherwise you're just going to get a bunch of websites. And on this one, let's do the or. So if I did teacher or principal, right? And they should have been lowercase. But if I'm doing a topic on teachers and principals and hit enter, I'm going to find some things that are together, but it'll also produce results that talk about teachers or principals, which would be further down the list because the most common thing that people are going to ask about is this. So the or is hey, it could be either or. You can use this operator with synonyms that you've got. For instance, the global warming versus climate change. You could do global warming or climate change because those are so related. These are a little less related, so you're going to see some different things. But on here, if you look, you can see this article's been cited 235 times. This is the same as on regular Google. You can tell when something's been cited. That's a good sign that it is not only well, it could be a PDF, but a PDF obviously is just a format, but it's a good sign that it's probably a peer-reviewed journal article. It's probably credible. So, that's something to really look at. And then it goes on down here and tells you how many times each thing is cited. This is more common in Google Scholar, but again, some things in here you're going to see charged for. And what I suggest to you, if you find an article, like say this one is charging $35 or whatever for it, take this title and plug it into regular Google. I know that sounds crazy, but a lot of times what will happen is, Google Scholar is focusing on scholarly articles through a certain search method. So they are not finding new free ones necessarily. And regular Google will. You can use Bing. I have used the search engine Bing, but it is not as effective. I'll just be honest with you as Google is in finding stuff. So here you can already see that this is a government document. This is from ResearchGate, which I already showed you. It usually has peer-reviewed journal articles on it. Very helpful, um, very helpful place to get. Another one is Academia EDU. That's a good one too. So these are just some clues on, what can I look on. You don't have to go to Google. You can go to researchgate.net. You can go to ed.gov if you want a government document. That's education, in case you're wondering. You could go to .gov. You could go to .ky. So if you wanted to know about pay and Kentucky, you could probably put minimum wage or pay scale. There again goes your synonyms, um, and ky, and it will actually take you to the ky website. So it just depends on what you're looking for, and the best way to figure that out is really just to brainstorm. So, and academia.edu is a good one. This is a good place to get ideas about where to go to look also. So, I hope that this helped. I think that the biggest help to most students, there's another one, um, is just the making sure you're putting in, um, because teacher, you could have teacher or instructor. Um, I mean, that's all I can think of right now. But teacher or instructor means look up all the documents on teacher or, sorry, I've added D there, get tired, or instructor. So if it shows up as instructor, you're going to see that. If it shows up as teacher, you're going to see that. If you have an article with both titles like these, you're going to see that. So you can also separate Google Scholar. The great thing is you can put it into time. So there are other methods you could use, but this is the simplest one and probably the most helpful through the year. So I hope that it helped you a little bit. You can always contact me to ask for assistance in helping you research things, but I think that this will help you a lot along with the database information. Thank you for listening and have a good evening.